next part on here is the rafters. We have a main rafter and a barge rafter pattern. The barge rafter is going to hang over the edge, and the main rafter is going to sit on top of the double top plate. They have to be in specific places, and we're going to measure back. They're going to be 12 inches on center, so we're going to come over 12, and then we're going to come back 24 from the front of the doghouse. I've had people measure from one side 12 and 24 and then back from the other 12 and 24. Your rafters are not going to line up if you do that. So if you measure over 12, the problem is you can't see your line anymore. So if I put my mark right at 12 inches, I can't see it when I set this down. So I don't know if it's centered anymore. But I do know this is 3/4 of an inch wide. So if I put my mark at 12, how far back do I have to come to find half of it? 3/8. So instead of putting my mark at 12 inches, I'm going to put it at 11 5/8. And then once I put it at 11 5/8, I'm going to put an X on the far side of it. So I know that I want to put it to this side. So now when I put this, I can line up that line on this side. Center will still be centered right underneath this rafter. That makes sense? So this edge of it is actually what I'm finding. So instead of at 12 and 24, I'm going to be 11 5/8 and 23 5/8. And that line is going to be the side of it. So now I can see that it's perfectly true there. When you cut out your rafters, I have two different thicknesses over there on the table saw. I have 2 inch and I have 2 1/4. These, the main rafters, are 2 inch. So make sure you get that material when you lay them out. And the barge rafters are 2 1/4. So make sure you're laying them out on that 2 1/4 material. When you cut these out, you should get 3 per section. When you lay them out, do one at a time. If you mark them all at the same time, you'll forget for the width of the blade cut, and you'll end up cutting them all a little bit short. So lay out one, draw your pencil line down each side, go cut it, and then do the next one based off that very first mark. Your measurement, your angle measurement, you're going to turn the chop saw over and you have to match this. I'm not going to tell you what it is. This is a pattern and you have to match it. And if all of yours are off an 1/8 inch, your whole doghouse is going to be off an 1/8 inch. So you need to make sure you are matching this exactly correctly. This is also very important that you match, when you cut these out on the bandsaw, when you cut out the bird's mouth on the bandsaw, you need to make sure that these are cut plumb and level. Because if it's at all angled, that means this is going to sit a little bit differently when it sits on top of that. So as careful as you are means the doghouse, or that's as good as your doghouse is going to. And I've had a lot of tails, you know, 1/4 inch long or something, and then your fascia board is going to do the whoop-de-woo on the way down. So try and make these as accurate as you can when you cut them out. Make sure they're all the same. Lay them all out in a row, butt them up together, and see if there's any you need to redo. All right, when we nail these on, it's going to be you have to be really careful because we're going to be shooting every one of them at an angle. Okay. This time we're going to use the bigger nail gun, but we're going to put longer nails in there. See how the nails stick up above this part this time? These are 2 inch nails. Instead of the 1.5 inch we used for the nail plate, these are 2 inch nails, so they're a little bit longer. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to do a mark, or I'm going to do a rafter on their mark right here. Hopefully it was right.
I hope so too.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So I know this goes contrary to honor and discipline, but we're going to shoot it in the back first, okay? And we're going to put it right on that line, and I'm going to shoot it right through the back. Now in normal nailing practices, I wouldn't do this on an actual rafter, because you would split it out probably. But we're going to do it right here because it'll hold it in place and it'll make it a lot safer. So right on the shortest area there, I'm going to put one nail in there just to temporarily hold it in place. So now it's not very strong, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to pin cushion that. We're going to shoot a nail from both sides. And generally when I'm putting on rafters, I'm going to shoot 2 from one side and 1 from the other, and that's going to lock it in place like a pin cushion. It can't go either direction in that way. But on this one, we're going to just do 2 nails because we don't want to risk splitting it out. And the problem is everybody likes to put it right in the corner when they shoot. What's going to happen if I do that?
On the top blade.
Yeah, it's not going to hook anything. It's going to go right in that corner, and it's not going to do any good at all. So I need to lift up a little bit, and I'm going to actually shoot it in about 1 inch up or 3/4 of an inch up. Shoot it in at an angle. If it comes out the other side and I see it over here, I'm not too worried about it, unless my finger's on that side, and that's a problem. So I'm going to put it here, and notice I'm not doing it this way. If I do it this way, the front of my nail is shaped like a chisel, and it's going to go in and it'll hit the edge and it'll just turn down and it won't actually go into the board. So I'm actually going to turn the nail gun this way when I put that in. So I put one on that side and one on that side. So now I can probably pick up the whole doghouse just with that. Okay. So it's going to make it stiff. Now what's going to happen is you're going to have somebody in your group that's going to come over and say, hey, that's not quite parallel all the way across. And they're going to grab the tip of this and they're going to do what?
They're going to adjust it.
They're going to adjust it. And you're going to grab their face and you're going to adjust it. Same way they did it here. Okay? The problem is right now there's no strength up here, right? So if I wiggle this or I adjust it, all it's doing is loosening this and it's going to come back to the same wrong place again. So don't let anybody touch it. Somebody just stand guard like this and wait for people to walk by. Once we get that middle board in, that ridge rafter, then we're going to adjust it over to fit match, and then we'll nail it on and it'll be strong as can be. But right now, there's a tendency for people to try and change those. All right, the next one is a little bit more difficult. This one is going to go flush on the edge. And generally speaking, we'd never build a house like this, but it works out well for the doghouse. This is a little different than regular framing. But I'm still going to do 1 nail in the back to hold it in place temporarily. And this is always a little dicey because sometimes people put nails right here, and so I know when it shoots down through it's going to tag that, but here we're just fine. So I put 1 just to hold it there. Now what's going to happen if I nail on this side?
Through the other side.
Yeah, it's going to stick out right here. We're going to call the dog fang or something like that. Right? There's going to be all these cool little fangs sticking out, which isn't very cool. So we're just, instead of shooting from this side, we're just going to shoot 2 or 3 on this side so that it holds it all together right there. And you'll notice that they stick out just a little bit right here. These nails are a little bit proud. So what do I need to do?
You got a hammer.
Hammer and a
Nail.
set. Hammer and a nail set. And we're going to tap those in so they go in flush. Because our plywood right here is going to go on next. And we don't want there to be those be a gap right there. So you get a nail set and you'll set those in. But I would wait on that till after it's attached. Okay, so I've got that one in, I've got this one in, and all the rest are the same, just the same as these. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So you're going to work your way all the way around. You should have 4 regular rafters nailed on. When we get done with that, I'll show you how to put that middle one in. Your main rafter. Questions?
Nope.
All right, let's go.